Hello, my name's Owen Rees and I'm the Fellow and Tutor in Music at Queen's. So I'm in charge of the tutorial teaching for music within the college, and we have a team of 3 teaching within the tutorial system at Queen's, myself and 2 college music lecturers. Tutorial teaching is typically concentrated in the afternoons, and the tutorial system gives students the opportunity, as they develop their scholarly skills and their musical skills, to receive regular and very detailed feedback, to discuss their work at great length with their tutors, and to be stimulated intellectually and musically through those interactions. So tutorial teaching might happen at Queen's in the whole year group, which is usually 4 students in a year, or with 2 students meeting with a tutor, or one-to-one teaching. What I particularly enjoy about teaching at Queen's and teaching music at Queen's includes our wonderful musical facilities. We have a great auditorium. We have a marvellous chapel for music in terms of its acoustics and inspiring architecture. We have a very active musical life spearheaded by the College Music Society, which organises a lunchtime recital series and has its own orchestra and a cappella group, puts on an annual musical. And we have the chapel choir as well, which sings several times a week and does concerts and broadcasts and tours and recordings. My favourite place within the college is the upper library, which is the original late 17th century library room at Queen's. It's one of the most beautiful library spaces in the world, and it's a really stimulating space in which to, for example, write that week's essay. When I'm not teaching or researching, what do? Well, I'm a choral conductor, so quite apart from directing the chapel choir at Queen's, I have my own early music ensemble called Contrapactus, which also makes CD recordings and does professional concerts in various parts of the world. So we're looking for students who might be interested in studying music at Queen's who are enthusiastic about exploring music from a variety of angles, creatively, perhaps through performance, perhaps through history and other contexts for music in culture, and perhaps through analysis. And we're looking for people who are going to make the most of the musical opportunities that Oxford and Queen's offers. In terms of how you might prepare for the interviews in music at Queen's, well, you might like to explore a bit the context for any set works that you've been studying as part of your school curriculum. So, for example, if you've studied one movement from a string quartet or a symphony, you might like to listen to and look at the other movements so that you have a view of the entire piece. Or you might like to look further into the context for that piece historically, or in terms of the composer, or in terms of the type of music which it represents. You might like to reread before the interview the essay or essays that you've submitted on music or another subject, just to remind yourself of what points you were making, what arguments you were making, as a springboard for discussion of that essay as part of the interview. What I'd say to somebody who's considering applying to Queen's to read music is that our music students, have a very wide range of musical interests, which include performance, composition, music history, musical culture, music analysis, and so on. And that's demonstrated by the variety of interests they display by the third year in terms of their course choices and, for example, in terms of the choices of dissertation subjects for those who want to do a dissertation, the ways in which people develop as composers or performers in those 3 years. So whatever your interests musically, you will find yourself, if you were to come to Queen's, rubbing shoulders with others who share those interests.